Nobody likes to see a bad plant sitting in their garden, and your first instinct is probably to just pull it out and toss it. But is it really the only option here? Or is it actually worth giving the plant one more chance before we give up on it completely? That's exactly what we're going to find out.
From what we can see here, this cherry tomato plant is severely wilted, stressed, and honestly in critical condition. The main stem and branches are drooping straight down. The leaves are curled, limp, and have completely lost their firmness, which usually points to acute dehydration, severe root shock, or roots that are too damaged to draw up water.
To start, we're going to be using a banana, just not the way you think. Instead of the fruit, we're using the peel, because the peel itself is actually loaded with potassium, phosphorus, and calcium. Now, for a cherry tomato plant, this is huge. Potassium helps build strong roots and improves the plant's overall resilience. Phosphorus supports flowering and fruiting, and calcium helps prevent issues like blossom end rot down the line.
So we're going to chop this peel up into smaller pieces and place it into a container that has holes at the bottom. This is going to work as a kind of mini compost system. As the peel naturally breaks down over time, all those nutrients are going to slowly push through the holes and straight down into the soil below. It's a really simple way to feed the plant without shocking it with anything too strong all at once.
Next, we're going to dig 3 narrow holes, 2 on either side and 1 right in the middle. The 2 side holes are for replanting the cherry tomato itself, and the middle hole is where our compost container is going to sit. This placement is actually really important. By putting the compost right in the center, the roots on both sides are going to naturally grow toward it as they stretch out looking for nutrients.
For each of the 2 holes we're replanting the tomato into, we're going to start by scattering a layer of rice husk into the bottom. The husk improves drainage and keeps air pockets in the soil, so the roots aren't sitting in dense, compact dirt. And the last thing we want is to replant it into soil that's just going to suffocate it all over again.
The next layer is wood ash, and this is genuinely one of the most underrated things you can add to soil. It's packed with calcium, potassium, and even a bit of phosphorus. For a tomato plant specifically, that calcium is huge because it's directly linked to preventing blossom end rot, which is one of the most common problems tomato growers run into later down the line. And finally, the last layer is used coffee grounds. Now, a lot of people think coffee grounds are super acidic and avoid them for this reason, but once they're brewed, the acidity mostly washes out with the coffee itself, so what you're left with is close to neutral. What they do bring is nitrogen, a bit of phosphorus and potassium, plus they improve the overall structure of the soil over time. Now we're going to replant each cherry tomato into their designated spot, right on top of those layers we just built. Gently lower the roots in and try to spread them out naturally rather than just cramming them straight down. You want those roots making contact with all that good stuff we just layered in, not just sitting in one clump. Once it's positioned the way you want, backfill around it with soil, firming it in just enough to hold the plant upright without packing it down too tight. Then place the compost container right in the middle, between the 2 plants.
And you're not limited to just banana peel here either. You can toss in other scraps too. In this case, I'm adding in some leftover veggie leaves as well. This just adds even more variety of nutrients into the mix. And as it all breaks down together, it's going to keep feeding both sides of the plant continuously over the next few weeks.
Finally, fill the entire thing with water. This is what kicks everything into motion. Once that water hits the compost, the breakdown process really starts to speed up. And that's exactly when all those nutrients from the banana peel and the veggie scraps start pushing through the holes and into the soil, where the roots can actually reach them. But the compost alone isn't going to be enough on its own. We still need to lightly water the plant regularly on top of that. Think of the compost as the slow, long-term feeding. But the plant still needs that regular moisture to actually recover in the short term. So going forward, just check the soil every couple of days. And if it's dry a couple inches down, and after 2 weeks, look at the difference. The severe droop, the limp leaves, all of that is completely gone. The stem is standing upright now, strong, with the foliage fully fanned out and spread wide to catch as much light as possible. The color has come back too, a healthy, vibrant green across the whole plant, which tells you photosynthesis is fully back online, and those roots are actually pulling up water again. And look at this new growth up top. It's sturdy, well-formed, nothing like the wilting mess we started with 2 weeks ago. This is exactly what recovery is supposed to look like. Of course, refilling the compost is still essential going forward. As that banana peel and those veggie scraps fully break down, you'll want to top it back up every so often to keep that steady stream of nutrients going. This isn't a one-and-done fix. It's an ongoing system that keeps feeding the plant long after this video ends.
Remember those used coffee grounds we talked about earlier? Well, we're bringing them back, but this time, we're making a fresh batch. Just take a few teaspoons of it, mix it in with some warm water, give it a good stir, and let it sit for a few minutes so all those nutrients have a chance to release into the water. And just like that, with nothing more than something you'd normally scrape into the bin, you've got yourself a simple, effective liquid fertilizer, completely free, sitting right there in your cup. And after around 3 hours, it's ready to be strained out. By this point, the water should have taken on a much darker color, which tells you those nutrients have properly steeped into the solution. Just pour it through a fine strainer or a coffee filter to separate out the grounds, and what you're left with is a clean liquid fertilizer, ready to use. Then dilute it with a bit more water to tune down the concentration level. You don't want to apply this at full strength. It's still relatively concentrated at this point, and going in too strong can actually stress the plant out rather than help it. Now we're going to fill this solution into a watering can, because this is what we're going to be using from now on going forward. Instead of plain water every time, we'll be using this coffee fertilizer mix as part of the regular watering routine. With everything ready, we're going to water down the base of the plant with this. Pour it slowly and evenly all the way around the base, letting it soak in gradually, rather than just splashing it on top and moving on. Take your time with this part. The slower it goes in, the more evenly it's going to spread through the soil and actually reach the roots where it matters most. And keep in mind, this isn't a one-time thing. This is routine care from here on out. Something you'll want to keep doing consistently, not just when the plant looks like it's struggling. The plants that stay healthy long-term are the ones that get this kind of steady, ongoing attention, not a rescue mission every few months.
And there you have it. A severely wilted, stressed out cherry tomato plant brought back to full health using nothing but simple kitchen ingredient. If this helped you look at your own struggling plants a little differently, let me know in the comments. And if you found this useful, a like and a subscribe genuinely helps me keep making more of these. I'll see you in the next one.